So that was Tony Tam from our HR giving us a overview of DT&A. My name is Bryan Riddle. First off, I'm a CAD methods lead here. We have a group of 4 CAD methods members. We have a support staff on the help desk side of about 3 NX dedicated support staff. We also have an admin. So the reason we have so many is because we have a bit of users and we have a lot of applications to support and licenses that we support also within NX. Tony talked a little bit about how we fit in with Daimler. You recognize a few of those brands, and as you recognize a few in the other slide, where we focus primarily on Freightliner and Western Star. Let's talk about NX. Okay, so we have what Tony's numbers are, 280,000 Daimler employees. Of those 280,000, less than 16,000 are NX users globally. Here at DT&A, we have 650. 750 that we put through training. That includes some suppliers who brought their people in to learn our processes and our systems. So we have, as Daimler, we're a major corporation, and we have access to all of Siemens's licenses. We work very closely with Siemens. We implemented NX 11 in December. We're going to 11.01 in June. We're getting that released to us at the end of this month. So as it's being offered by Siemens, we get an advanced look at it and we start developing our products. So I got a question for you. So excluding admins here, because I'm assuming we have owners, admins, and users, how many customer default settings would you guess we have? Just throw up a hand.
5,000.
Any more? Any more? 15,476 customer default settings. So the reason I want to show this to you is because I want to show you how we work with Daimler and use settings within this large global corporation. And it may give you some ideas if you're at a smaller or a medium company. If you have, oftentimes, like I came from a small workshop, design firm about 10 years ago where it was wide open. So you had all your user settings and preferences and everything was wide open to you. We don't do that here because we are a global corporation and we need consistency. So I'm going to explain how settings and preferences work. And bear with me, I'm not going to kill you with PowerPoints. I'm going to get to that next in just a little bit here, but I want to explain this. So we receive settings from Siemens, and that's that 15,476 settings. Those are delivered to Daimler. Daimler then applies their DIN standard to it, and that supersedes the as shipped. So as you're drilling down into from as shipped, site, group, user, that overrides the one above it. So when we receive our settings from Daimler, we adjust those settings. So there's going to be a lot of similarities between DIN and ASME, but there's some things that are different. And there may be some changes that we want to make to the Siemens settings as well. And that's why I put that band in the middle there. That's our group settings. We apply those here, but we lock it out to users. And I know users get angry because they like flexibility, and I'd love to give it to them. But if you have a part and you are designing it with certain settings or certain preferences, trying to troubleshoot that is difficult when you're working in a global corporation, because someone else may pick that up and they have no idea. It could be someone on the other side of the world picking up your parts. So we need to have consistency. Start parts, you have a certain number of preferences. Those are inherited from that band there. I think where I have it shown group, that gets inherited down. Some of those settings get turned into preferences, and those are able to override those preferences can override some of those inherited settings. So how it works here in Daimler with the global package is that we will develop our start parts and all of our preferences locally. Japan does theirs, and then we register at Daimler. Now what they'll do is they'll package it all up. They have functions that they'll develop. There's a whole series of Daimler Addons, very custom macros or functions within the system that make allow us to work more efficiently and offers us consistency. So we'll take that as a package, send it back out to the different locations, and then we'll just apply the group setting that applies to us. So we actually have the JIS standards in our package, but we just don't apply them. For the admin who's using or receiving this, it's a simple plug and play. They just have to configure it a little bit. Just say make as be active. So then from there, we'll send that out to all of our different suppliers. Daimler will send it out to theirs, and Japan will send it to theirs, and we send it out to, we have a design center in India that handles all of them. So next I'm going to talk, now this is where I'm going to open up NX, okay? So I'm just going to talk a little bit about our start parts and how those work here, and then some of those Daimler add-ons. I'll just allude to those a little bit, and then talk about the support that we provide. Let's see. So this is our global start part. I've expanded it all the way. There's about 147 nodes in here, and yeah, that's complex. We call it that maximum complexity start part within methods because it's I don't think you can shoehorn anything else in here. The way they did this is they created a feature group, like nested feature groups within their start part, and that way those feature groups account for every manufacturing step, every bit of information. If you're pulling extracted data from another model, it gets added in here. We finally have an output file. Node inside this tree. So you can see right in here we have a part design. That's where I'm going to do my basic part. There's a rough part where I will create my rough part and then I'll refine it as I go down. You can see you can add into these different layers. You can create your own. So you don't have to stick strictly to these nodes. You can build feature groups underneath these and nest them further. But I'll tell you what, using this is nice for anyone who's trying to troubleshoot your start part or troubleshoot your part, because they know that they have to go right to the part design or to find the rough part. That this is in the design part here. And in machining that's for pulling information out. And so what we do, it's in a logical order. Obviously, you create a body and then you have machining operation afterwards. It's chronological. So this, again, this massive start part is kind of daunting when you look at it up front. So Daimler created the Daimler start part configurator. I'll launch that, and hopefully my system will crash. Here we go. So inside of this, we have business units. As we mentioned, we got Mercedes-Benz car, we got truck, van, buses, and some other options here. We're in truck. And if I want to do a sheet metal part, I can pick sheet metal, or if I'm doing kinematics, or just simply a general part, maybe a casting. You can select your option inside of here, and then watch this on the left-hand side. Once I apply that, it collapses down. So now I don't have not nearly as many. I'm going to do an even simpler one. Launch that again. And this can be changed at any time. It just shows you the node you need. So you see how much it collapsed? So it's much easier to work with. So this, that part configurator that I just showed you, not only does it configure this based on the setting that I gave it inside the part configurator, or the option, what it does is it sets a check profile in the background. So when I'm checking the part and I run this next Daimler add-on, it's called HQM, it's Heidelberg Quality Check. We don't use Checkmate here, we use Heidelberg Quality Manager. When I apply that, it runs checks specifically for that part configuration. It'll tell me what I'm missing, reference sets and weight. That actually brings me to another point. We use reference sets here. We try not to use layers. Reference sets, does anyone use reference sets here outside of DTNA? You do? Okay. Oh, good. Okay, so I don't have to explain it to you, or this will be a refresher for you. So reference sets is a way to adjust visualization of your part. You can place certain portions of your part into a reference set, and you can apply it, toggle them on and off for visualization. We use that in combination with hide show as opposed to layers, because we find that it's a lot easier, again, to troubleshoot. You have 16,000 users, you have a lot of parts that's generated. In our system alone, we have over 1 million parts. So, not all are NX, but it's a lot of parts. So I want to show you, some of the customizations that we're doing here. This might be nice for a little trick for those who aren't familiar with this, is favorites. You can save your favorite for a dialog. Say for example, if I want to put this to datum as my selection and turn associative off, and I can save that favorite. Oh, I gotta save it as user favorite. Okay, I'm not gonna blast through that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show you, these are the ones that have been created by DTNA or Daimler. And so you can select the one that DTNA would like you to have, or Mercedes would like you to have as a Daimler or the DTNA. So that's one nice customization. Another thing that we're doing here is, I'd like to show you Daimler Addons. We do a lot of customizations here. Again, focus on efficiency or shortcomings of the system itself. There's functions that may not exist inside of NX that Daimler says this needs to exist, and before it gets developed by Siemens, we'll develop it ourselves. Maybe we'll pass it along to Siemens, because we have a really good working relation with Siemens. I have a direct link to Siemens. So if, for example, we have a user who has an issue, and it's actually, the dialog box is breaking, it's throwing out an error, I can send that information to Siemens, and they'll resolve it and get it out in either a bug fix or in the next release. Or if they say, no, you know what, this is an enhancement, they'll put it in the schedule and get it back to us in a couple of years, well, a couple of releases. Right now, and we're always 3 releases behind, so right now if I put one in, I get it in NX 14. But you see inside of here, again, back to the Daimler add-ons, there's a number of add-ons and customizations that we have. One of the ways that we try and support our users too is try and create as many efficiencies as we can. We've organized the tabs, we've organized the ribbon bar in a seamless order, where you're starting from, you're going to start by creating an axis. That's our method. Create an axis, create your datum, create a sketch, then create your extrude, and then you're working your way through. You're adding a hole. You're working yourself from left to right. By default, when it comes out of the box, it's not all that well organized. Another thing that we do too is we'll add on the contextual menu, when you mouse button 3. We'll add, in modeling, we'll add datum CSIS, sketch and task environment, extrude. If I switch over to sheet metal, you'll see that we have tab, flange. You go into drafting, you'll see other customizations. Another thing that, another way we'd like to support our users is that there's a lot of different methods here. We've been around for a long time. There's a lot of applications out there that NX needs to work with, or downstream processes. And so we have a lot of methods. So why we have to have a methods team is in order to make sure none of these downstream processes break. We put our methods inside of NX itself with using the web browser. We have a link to a page. Go to that. This will take you to all the engineering applications. And then inside of here, for example, if I want to learn about the general practices of, let's see, I'll just pull the material and wait. Here's an example. I'll launch my method from within NX. So that's nice. It tells you exactly how to assign your weight and steps you through. You can go close that out and go back over to NX, and here you go. Now we not only do we create products here, NX products, but we and support and then create the outlines for training. We're trying to develop more efficient ways to do things. One of the things that we're currently working on is a dialog box. I don't have if there's any DTA employees here, I don't have an ETA on when I'm going to do this, or when we're going to get this completed, but we're developing a DTA methods dialog box using the functionalities already within NX. It's the block styler. I don't know if anyone here has used this. It's nice. You can create your functions. It steps you through the process. There's a wizard in there. It's really nice. So I've added this welcome page. Tell me what's new in NX 12. When I have that material, I'll add it. And what's new in Siemens? I've known issues. I'll have issues in there, and then I have a way to contact either help desk or CAD methods directly from NX. So you can get an on-demand answer, or be able to pull up a frequently asked question in drafting, for example. We're gonna populate this. This is just something that's in the works. So I left myself a couple minutes 1 minute for questions. So does anyone have anything for me? Other than asking me a timeline on when I'm gonna get that?
Bit of a question. How many people on the team that's building all the customization in here? Is that global?
The Daimler Addons are global, and those are done by a group of developers. I believe there was 7 at one time. I think there's now 3 because we're getting more. They've been developed for sustaining. Here, I'm the developer on and myself and the CAD admin who assist me.
Thanks.
Daimler was a Kia shop.
Yes.
And you guys used Kia as well? So you transitioned to
Yes, we
Daimler?
did. When I came in here, we were using D4, and I oversaw the conversion from D4 to D5, and then I oversaw the conversion from D5 to NX. And the reason we went from NX or D5 to NX is because we use a system called SCHMAG here. SCHMAG is a German acronym, and it means Emerald. But it is it's our PDM system, and with NX6, which Katia Dassault was trying to force us to go to 6, they wouldn't allow us to use SCHMAG. We have all our data and millions and millions of parts inside SCHMAG, and so because they said no, Daimler said, "Hey Siemens, what can you do for us? If you give us a direct link in with you, if you partner up with us, and allow us to request customizations and get us quick turnaround, we'll give you our business." And so Siemens agreed to that. And so now we have a really nice partnership. And SCHMAG is actually based on Team Center too, so it was seamless from that standpoint. Except for we had legacy data. So I won't get into JT too much, but We have a lot of V4 and V5 data that you can't read in NX. So you have to use a neutral format. And so we use JT data, and you can read that inside of NX. So there's a conversion process that happens in each model. Anyone else have a question?
What are you using for your applications? Are you using journaling, or are you using knowledge fusion,
Honestly, I'll show you something real quick. You know this, I can tell by you that you already know this answer, but I use, the journaling is very, very basic, what I'm doing. That's where I get the CAD admin involved, because he's a guru. But has anyone used journaling here? Yeah, handful of people. For those who haven't used journaling, it's actually really nice. So I'm going to go over a couple minutes. So if I want to change something, let's see. I'm going to create a brand new part here. Drawing. Oh.
Time's up.
Check out journaling when you get back to your desk. Unfortunately, I can't show that to you without launching again.
One of the big things between, if you know what a macro is, a journal and a macro are the same vein. A macro tends to be more along the lines of screen ticks, so it doesn't really work very well when somebody's screen is built differently. Journaling builds things based on the application buttons in the background. It does record what you're doing, so if you pick a face on a part or do something to it, it thinks the next thing that you want to do, if you run that journal again, is to pick that same face. So you have to go in and clean journals up a little bit. I have to know a little bit about how to do some coding, but it is a quick way to, this is what I want to do, give it to a developer, and they can clean up your code and make it generic so it can work on any part. But in there, you'll see the calls that are being made, the things that NX wants to do, and there are a couple of people who do that in this room, and probably go much deeper than I can.
Yeah, I mean, okay, just to add on to that real quick, it's just using journaling. Try it. Record your picks. If you're going to do repetitive picks over again, if you want to, for example, I use a journal that has, I use a journal macro, I guess you say. It has about 100 different changes inside of it. When I'm creating I can create a start part using my recorded journal. And it'll create all the nodes that I want, set all the layers how I want, name them properly, does all that with a single click. You just do it one time, recording all your clicks, stop it, save it. Next time you need to do it, just run it. Open up a brand new blank start part and just run it, and it'll do everything you need. So play around with that. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.